Cowboy assistant for a long time under Tom Landry. But the point is, Mike Nolan hasn't been a defensive coordinator since he was with the Falcons back in 2012 to 2014. Do you realize what those Falcon defenses finished?
Yeah, I do.
24th, 27th, and 32nd and dead last. Those were his last three coordinator finishes. Why did he get this job? Because once upon a time, he gave Mike McCarthy a job when he was the head coach in San Francisco and gave him a big jump start in the, not that he hadn't already been, he was on the New Orleans staff,
but he gave him
an opportunity to be a coordinator. And it was a huge deal, so he repaid. It's like cronyism, okay?
Yep.
I don't see any. I don't see any results through 4 games. This is the all-time Dallas defensive humiliation. This is a team that used to have doomsday. Shannon, do you remember? It was just 2 years ago, 2 playoffs ago, that Russell Wilson and company came to Jerry World with the leading rushing attack in pro football. And that day, they got 73 yards rushing. So under Rod Marinelli, I was missing Rod Marinelli last night. I occasionally saw just sparks and flashes of, that's pretty good, right?
Yep.
And under Mike Nolan, I see deadhead. I see lost. I see effortless. I see, okay, so in the end, what happens? As usual, I've seen this movie 4 times this year. Desperate Dak takes over. When is he at his greatest? When they are hopelessly behind.
Correct.
Well, that's kind of scary to me. You're hopelessly behind, and you're at your best.
There's no expectations, because if you lose, Skip, if you're down with 40 seconds left in the 30, you're down by 27, nobody's expecting you to come back.
Okay, so here he comes, and he puts on a show in the 4th quarter, because that was just spectacular. He threw for what was 254 in the 4th quarter, and 3 touchdowns, and all of a sudden, I look up, and they're down 3. And then what happens? This is bad team football. For some reason, the new kicker, Greg the Leg, he decides to try to trick them again. They'd almost tricked him with a squib kick before. And all you need to do is kick it deep.
Right.
Kick up. You got 3:42 left.
Yes.
See if the defense can come up with a play or 2.
Because you had timeouts. You had 1, I think.
You do.
So, I would agree with you. I was thinking they were going to kick it deep.
Okay, so he tries another weird squib, and they just catch it. Excuse me. And if they catch it, you're in trouble, because they're going to get the ball at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, he catch it with a running start.
Okay, so now it's 1st and 10, and they call another trick play. They call a reverse to Odell. And Aldon Smith, who I've raved about, was a no-show yesterday. He had 2 total tackles, no sacks, no pressures. He did you see 58 at all?
No, Skip, can we run this back? Now, this is the Cowboys.
Okay.
Now, I want you to tell me, Skip.
Okay, I'm doing this.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I saw on this play. Aldon Smith finally stays home and makes a good play.
Right, he makes him bubble.
He makes him bend it way back.
Yes.
Excuse me, he bends it back 20 yards.
Yes.
What usually happens when a reverse gets bent back 20 yards?
Oh, you got the pursuit.
The whole defense is waiting for you.
Yes.
You got time to rally.
Yes.
And you got 8 guys waiting to tackle you.
Yes.
Okay, I saw 5 guys, and I saw nobody really try until Jalen Smith dragged him down, and that was like a horse collar tackle.
But here's the thing, though. Look at Jalen Smith in the beginning. Look at Jalen Smith.
Okay.
You tell me Jalen Smith was running at the beginning?
No.
Because if he was running at the beginning, he'd have got it right to cut off his pass.
Thank you. I agree. That was give up. That was heartless. That was effortless. That was completely unacceptable. I wanted all of them cut the next day just for that play, because you got back in the game. And obviously, that just rips your heart out.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So this is why this is a bad football team. This is a team with a prolific, an explosive offense.
Yes.
That is self-destructive, because to your point, I thought Dak would have had 4 more interceptions yesterday if they just caught the ball. So it's self-destructive, and it's backed up by the worst defense in the National Football League. So in the end, it's like, this is what Jerry asked for. He likes sizzle. He doesn't want the steak, he wants the sizzle. He doesn't want the cake, he wants the icing, because icing sells. So Jerry has kind of what he always dreamed of having. He got
box office offense.
He's got box office, because they are #1 in passing, #1 in total yards, and wait a second, they're only 4th in scoring, because that's not good enough.
Right.
But the point is, they throw it all over the lot. It's fun to watch if you're not a Cowboy fan.
Right.
If you're just a casual fan, you say, wow, this is interesting to me. And they tend to fight back and get back in games that keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yes, yes.
Okay? But then they lose, and they could be 0-4.
They really should be.
Okay? So in the end, it's like, you know, the book, I read the book Dante's Inferno when I was in high school. Okay, so the idea of Dante's Inferno is that the punishment in the afterworld fits the crime. So if you're a bank robber in your earthly life,
right,
then your bank keeps getting robbed when you're stuck in hell, okay?
Right.
So this is like Jerry's in Dante's Inferno right now, because this is kind of what he always dreamed of having in the wrong way,
yeah,
right? Because they are box office and they lose, really.
I thought the Cowboys defense, I was concerned, and I voiced my concerns. But, Skip, I didn't think it would be this bad. Is that because here's what happens. When you expect someone else to make the play, that means you loaf. If you look at that play that Alden Smith made Odell bubble,
yep,
guys are loafing to the play. Somebody else is going to make the play. And then if you, Skip, I'm watching the game, and then you get guys, if you just play your responsibility,
yep,
Skip, if you got outside leverage, don't try to jump inside, because what happens? The guy starts inside, and then he bounces, and where you were supposed to have been, now he gets 15, 16 yards on a run. This is bad football.
Okay.
And Skip, you got what you got. There's nobody, Randy White and Bob Lilly and Ed Tutall, ain't nobody walking through that door.
Nope.
This is what you got.
Yep.
Your secondary is really not that good. And if you can't, yeah, Odell and Jarvis and them could have had like 200 yards apiece, but because they couldn't stop the run, they just turned around and handed, like you said, Dearness. I don't even know. I'm like, who is that? Where you come from?
Dearness Johnson.
I'm like, they just signed a kid. They just playing with the Cowboys. They just say, hey, you like you a good running back. Come on and run.
Kareem's got a groin. You know, like he was hobbled.
And Kareem, he was hobbled and got 71 yards.
Okay. I'm going to say it one more time. I've said this until I'm cowboy blue in the face. I would have signed Earl Thomas before the season started. I know about all the baggage. You know about all the issues that blew him up in Seattle and Baltimore. I get all that. He's just so much better than anybody they have in their secondary. He's a made man. He's won championships. He's been, what is it, like a 6 or 7-time Pro Bowler?
Yeah, he was 7.
And he made his 7th last year in Baltimore. Could be on reputation, but at least he's got...
Skip.
He's got some authority to him when he walks in the door.
But it's being reported that the players in Houston got to Bill O'Brien and says, we don't want him in our locker room.
I do not doubt that report. I get it.
I've never heard that, though, before.
Okay, it's possible some of the Cowboys said, no, we don't want him in our locker room. I just want him in my secondary because it's the worst I've ever seen. And at least he could have made a play or two that might have changed the Seattle game. He might have made a play or two that would have changed yesterday's game, because they have nobody to make plays. Do you realize they have now 9 giveaways? They have only 2 takeaways.
Yeah.
Well, that's so bad. You've played 4 games. You can't take the ball away. No. If you're bad and you can at least occasionally cause a turnover.
And normally bad defenses can't take the ball away.
Right.
Skip. That's one of the reasons why you're bad is because you can't turn the team over. You can't get pick sixes, or just forget pick sixes, Skip.
Yep.
You just want a turnover at this point.
You got it. And my final insult to injury came when LeBron James, your man, was tweeting. And again, he's a Cowboy fan, and now he's tweeting yesterday for Odell after the big 50-yard run. OBJ with lots of exclamation points. Bro, let's go. # Browns. You're a Cowboy fan.
Skip.
We have proof. Have you seen him? He's worn cowboy garb to Browns games.
Can he not?
That's him at a Cowboys at Browns game. Way to go, LeBron. I love it.
Hold on, but what about this, Skip? Odell is his friend.
Yeah. Look.
I mean, he want his friend.
There he is with your guy.
Yeah, Skip, he want his friend to do well.
Oh,
I mean,
look, he's got a Jason Witten jersey on. You believe in this? That's your guy. He's a Jason Witten fan.
Jason Witten's no longer there, so. So what, he's supposed to be a Vegas Raiders fan?
No, this is back in the past. And again, the Cowboys would play at Browns, and he would go down on the field and hang out with the Cowboys. Yeah. Well, don't be tweeting about # Browns.
Talk about.
I don't need that.
You just gave up. You just been at your opening salvo. You said you were done with the Cowboys. Did you not just say that?
He jumped bandwagons, though.
You just jumped, too.
Okay, well, I didn't jump on somebody else's bandwagon. I'm not suddenly an Eagles fan.
You'll be back, though. Something to tell me. Who y'all got this week?
The Giants.
You Look how you said that.
Yeah.
The Giants. You know they terrible.
They are terrible, but the Eagles are right now better than Dallas.
So are you.
Yeah.
Hold on, time out, Skip. You talk about, the Giants are terrible. What you think teams say about y'all?
I told you we're terrible. Yeah. Yep. We're done.
We're in first place, baby. Walk into them.
Giving compliments to the Eagles
One,
around
two, and
here?
one?
We better more than what you guys are.
Oh, they're at the
Whatever you are,
right now.
we're better than that.
Okay, we're going to get to the Eagles, I promise, because I need to hear what you guys think. But Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, well, they started off slow, but once they got rolling, they did look nearly unstoppable. Coming back from down 17 points, Brady ended up finding 5 different receivers for touchdowns throughout the game, and that is the first time he's ever done so in his career, guys. Brady also overcame an early pick 6 with 369 passing yards, and more importantly, the 38-31 win. So Shannon, please give Mr. Tom Brady a letter grade for his performance.
I gave him a B, Skip. I thought once they shored up the protection and made him feel comfortable in the pocket, he looked like the Tom Brady. He started getting the ball out. Skip, if you look at what he was doing now, he had 9 targets to Roe Jones. A lot of the stuff is starting to implement that he's getting back the things that he feels comfortable.